So I thought this was a BBC document, but I have no idea why I thought that, because it clearly says Channel 4 on it. So, but anyway, I just want to show you kind of like what I mean. Okay, so this whole video is kind of about an abusive relationship, and this is 31 minutes into it. So there's basically 31 minutes of having clips of her in a seat, looking paralyzed, trying to get the audience to feel a huge amount of sympathy over the state that she's in, the fact that she can't walk, the fact that she can't talk and talk well because of this brain injury that she's had. And the whole basically the whole video is like a big warm-up about how awful this abuse was, and how, you know, she was going through lots and lots of harassing text messages and stuff like this, and you kind of make, you know, this person seem like a complete monster because of what he's done to her. And then when they come to actually talking like about how she ended up being paralyzed, you know, and this is kind of what I just want to show it. This is what they do.
He knew that she was about ready to blow him out.
Okay, so it shows her going into the van, but it doesn't quite show if it is in the back or if it's in the front. Because this makes a big difference. Okay, this makes a big difference, but it didn't make it clear.
Che bundled her into the van, and his mate Rocco was driving.
So there you saw a clip of her, and there seemed to be a window in the back, which kind of indicates that she's in the front seat. So it looks kind of like she's just kind of jumped out the front seat, but it doesn't really make it clear because it was very flashy.
She fell from the vehicle at 60 miles an hour. She suffered catastrophic brain injury. This is where Angel's come out the van. So I think she's come out about here. And he said she was rolling down the road like a football. They took me and Paddy upstairs. They said she's in ICU. When they opened the curtain to let me in, I just fell on the floor.
Okay, so that's the story, and it's you know, it's not a nice story. It's a very sad, and I'm just trying to explain why I think this is a very one-sided story, because the whole story is, you know, the whole documentary. Let's just take a clip of yeah, the whole documentary is like.
You write it on there so that I know. Is that okay? I want to tell your story, Angel. Look at me. So that this doesn't happen to anybody else.
You know, so the whole story is kind of about trying to get as much sympathy for what's happened to her as much as you know, as much as they can. But they kind of do it by, throughout the whole thing, demonizing the guy. You know, Here's the type of conversations.
I said, what is wrong with him? He called her a slag, he called her a tramp because she'd gone into my daughter's house and where there were boys. It was quite distressing, it was alarming. I started to question what was going on, and I told her, are you sure you're okay? Because I will go to your mum and dad, you don't think you're not? She said, yeah, of course I am. It was beyond vile. I was shocked.
He would message her wherever she was. Message, 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 all the time. Her phone was lit up.
I wish I'd speed it up. I should do that. Speeding it up. I don't know if there's any way of speeding that up, but basically the whole video is just about slandering him. Slandering him. And then when it comes to the bit that actually caused the accident, the bit that actually caused the damage, all you get is a tiny bit where she was bundled into a van and then she was kind of tossed out, and there's absolutely no, like, this is the event that actually caused the drama. If it hadn't been for that attack, you know, all it is a guy that texts too much, you know. All it is a guy that pesters too much, and to spend 30 minutes demonizing the guy just to end up with, she was bundled into a van and she came out of it at 60 miles an hour, but you don't know, you know, in this story, if she just opened the door and whilst knowing that she's on a motorway and then sort of flung herself out of a moving car on a, you know, that's a very stupid thing to do. And I feel like this whole video is about, you know, saying how relationships are bad and how you shouldn't, like, get involved in a relationship because this could happen to you. But how many people would jump out of a moving car when they're driving 60 miles an hour on a motorway? You know, I mean, was she pushed? I mean, if she was pushed, then it's bad, but they're not saying that. They're not saying that she was still pushed. They're describing it as an accident. And therefore, it's just like an accident has happened, and this documentary just seems to be trying to demonize this guy as much as possible. You know, I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm not saying he's a good guy at all. He sounds terrible, and this sounds like a terrible relationship, but at the same time, she stayed with him. You know, she stayed with him for a very long time, and I feel like it's trying to focus on the abuse that she faced, when really all the abuse was just thousands of text messages, which she could have gone to the police and said, look, this guy's stalking me. Can you get him to stop talking to me? And if she didn't go to the police, you know, then I feel like part of the responsibility of the abuse is actually kind of like for not trying to stop it. You go to the police, you report it, you get them put in prison. You don't wait until after an accident's happened and then start. You know, I feel like, you know, it doesn't say if she was in the back of the car, if she knew she was on the motorway. It doesn't talk about the incident that caused this suffering is not spoken. It's like minimal. There's a huge section about the recovery process and all that. There's a huge section about all these annoying texts that she got. But the incident that actually caused her to end up like this isn't really spoken about, and there's hardly anything said about it. And, you know, why did she jump out? Why, if this is the mother trying to get the side of the story out, why the daughter's side of the story out? Why is the focus not on how she ended up paralyzed? Because if she ended up paralyzed because she chose to jump out of a moving vehicle, then the bit that's damaged and ruined her life isn't these annoying text messages. It's the part that actually caused her the physical damage, and if it wasn't intentional, then the whole point of demonizing him just to, you know, it's demonizing him based on the condition that she's in. But if the condition that she's in wasn't caused by an abusive relationship, but rather was caused by, you know, her being bundled into a car and then choosing to jump out of it whilst on a motorway, you know, I just feel like it's not giving the true picture of how she ended up in that situation, because how she ended up in the situation was that she jumped out of a moving car. Do you understand?